Well, welcome back to the Mouse Diva channel. I have another bookish video for you.
Moving pictures. Hello there, moving pictures.
What's up, Doc?
I've been all around the world. Every city, every place. Always been a restless girl.
Welcome to, oh my gosh, it almost fell, to January 2025's TBR. So, as you can see, I have quite a lot on this month's TBR. So, let's get started, shall we? I'm just going to kind of go in order of how I just have them stacked, which is no particular order, by the way. So, first one up is The Wild Inside by Christine Carbo. This was actually in my Books Inside Boxes box for December, or was this January? Hold on. This is, no, oh no, this was January's. And when I opened the box, I was like so surprised because it's like, oh my gosh, this is an awesome, amazing January read, right? I mean, look at that. So what's it about? Now, I had not heard anything about this book. And it takes place at Glacier National Park. An intense and thoroughly enjoyable thrill ride. Christine Carbo's literary voice echoes with her love of nature, her knowledge of its brutality, and the wild and beautiful Montana. The Wild Inside is a tour de force of suspense. So there we have it. And that is my only soft cover on the TBR. Next up, oh my gosh, look at this. This has got to be one of my favorite sprayed edges ever. Anybody know what it is? It is A Study in Drowning. I cannot believe I have not got to this book yet. There's no particular reason that I picked it for this month other than I just really want to read it. And my daughter's friend also bought this edition, got it at Barnes & Noble. And she was going to probably read it this month, so it was kind of like a buddy read. So we'll just kind of I'll have to keep in touch with her and see when she starts it. If she starts it, it may have to go to February. It's not one of the highest on the list for this month, but oh, I really do. Really need to get to this book. And next, The Power of Scenery. So Frederick Law Olmsted and the Origin of National Parks. Oh my gosh, I got like a theme going on here, national parks. So I actually bought this book at the Biltmore House, and they have what they call the bookbinder shop. So they have, I think, like 5 gift shops in the old stable area. And the bookbinder shop is one of my favorites. I always go in there. Anything to do with Biltmore, or the landscape designer Frederick Law Olmsted, or the architect Richard Morris Hunt, obviously is something I am really intrigued about. And this was a recent buy, so that's kind of why it's high up on my TBR this month. Okay, there is a reason for this. Guys, this is insane. So let me just, okay. Sylvia Doe and the 100-Year Flood by Robert Beatty. He is the one that wrote the Serafina books that are, fiction story of a girl that lived in the basement of the Biltmore House, okay? And this came out in September of 2024. It literally came out, I can't remember if it was like the week before Hurricane Helene or the week after, but this whole 100-year flood thing, like basically the area that it hit us in the North Carolina mountains, I mean, things that flooded were like in 100-year floodplain. Like they hadn't flooded basically since 1916. Oh my God. Wow. It was 1916. That like all the damage that it did to like Biltmore Village, that was the type of damage it did in 1916. Oh my gosh. Look how close we are to that 100-year. That is insane. Anyway, so that's why I wanted to read this one. That's why I bought the book to begin with. But this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, guys. Okay, so like I said, when he wrote this book, he had no idea that Hurricane Helene was going to hit this area. But listen to this. A hurricane changes the course of a river, which it did in this area. The French Broad and the Swannanoa rivers, parts of those rivers are now changed forever. Like it goes, there's little areas that it forks off that it didn't fork off before. I mean, just really crazy. But anyway, okay, so a hurricane changes the course of a river and the life of a lonely girl in this nature-based, nature. I'm in a theme and I didn't even realize it. Nature-based mystery adventure by the author of New York Times #1 bestselling Seraphina and the Willa series. So 13-year-old Sylvia Doe has lived at the High Ground Home for Children nearly all her life. And whenever the administrators try to place her with a foster family, she runs away. Back to Mason, High Ground's caretaker and her best friend. The only place she feels like she belongs is with him and the horses he has taught her to love. Okay, so that's an interesting thing about horses. Here we go back to the Biltmore. So they had, I think it was two equestrian employees that were trapped with the horses at the horse barn, and they had to stay, like, they were just trapped. There was no way to anybody could get to them. It was flooded. They couldn't, and this is on the estate, they couldn't get anywhere. They kept the horses a lot. They were trapped for 4 days, I think, before another equestrian employee could get to them. They kept the horses alive because at first they found one truck that they didn't realize actually had a tank on it with fresh water. So that lasted like a day. But then the other days they actually had to go down to a fresh creek and haul up buckets of water so the horses could drink, because horses drink a lot of water. They need that water to live, and that's how they kept those horses alive. So even though Biltmore did lose some animals in the flood, none of them were horses. Okay, that's your tidbit. All right, Matt Haig, The Life Impossible, and Midnight Library, I think, is the other thing he wrote, and I have been wanting to read that one too. I need to get to that one, but this one is in my possession, so this will be first, and then hopefully at some point I will get the Midnight Library. And then The Book of Doors, so by Gareth Brown. Now this is okay. So this debut novel, full of magic, adventure, and romance, The Book of Doors opens up a thrilling world of contemporary fantasy for readers of the Midnight Library. Oh my gosh, This is crazy. All these connection on my books that I'm not even realizing it until like now with you guys. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Night Circus, and any modern story that mixes the wonder of the unknown with just a tinge of darkness. Cassie Andrews works at a New York City bookstore, shelving books, making coffee for customers, and living an unassuming, ordinary life until the day one of her favorite customers, a lonely yet charming old man, dies sitting at his usual table in the store. So, spoiler, I'm almost through with this book. So I actually started reading this book in 2024 and I have not finished it yet. So one of my goals for 2025 is to not read as many books as I read at the same time. So I'm one of these that there'll be a book in my vehicle, there'll be a book on my nightstand, there'll be a book in the sitting room, in the living room. And basically I just pick up books and start reading. So I'm reading several books at the same time. A lot of people say, how do you keep up if you're reading that many? Well, that's because I read such a variety. I read a lot of nonfiction. So, of course, I'm not getting those stories mixed up. I could be reading a historical fiction. I could be reading a fantasy. So it's not like I get the stories mixed up. The problem is that after I read them, I'm literally forgetting what the books are about because I'm skipping around so much and it takes me so long to read the books. So this year I'm going to try to focus a little harder on just finishing a book before I go to the next book. However, one of these books that's in this TBR I have already finished, and then I have already started. But then I remembered that I had this one and I'm like, I need to finish this. So I stopped reading the other one and I'm gonna finish this one before I continue reading the other book. So this one will be finished this month. Book of the Month Club. Hopefully you saw that unboxing. It was my very first one. It was very appropriate that I get my first Book of the Month book in January, you know, starting the year off right. And this is the book that I had chose, and it is basically like literary, very short, under 200 pages. It's actually been translated. It originally was not, first edition was not English. So I actually, hopefully you saw that because I've already read this. And I give you my review in that unboxing of the book. If you haven't seen that, find that thumbnail. I might link it at the end if I remember. I don't know if I'm gonna remember. I am over 50, so cut me some slack. Teddy and Booker T. So I absorb anything on Theodore Roosevelt. I love reading about him. And this was actually loaned to me by my older friend. She is 89 years old. We love nonfiction, we love history, and we love historical fiction. So she basically, I have a stack of books that she has loaned me that I haven't got to yet. I need to get through those. So this is the one that I have picked this month just because I needed another nonfiction. So that my only two nonfictions for this month are these two. I need at least 2 nonfiction books in my TBR for a month. All right, and the last one, so is I have to thank you guys for, well, you guys that follow me on Instagram. So I couldn't decide between the book I'm getting ready to show you and another book. They're very popular books, and I just did not get around to reading either one of them last year. And so I put this on Instagram. So I tried to give you little clues with the emojis on what the books were. And as you can see, the blue book won, and the blue book was A Frozen River. So I am definitely going to be doing this every month. It was so much fun. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever, I will read those. You know, I don't know that I'm going to get to all these books this month, but every book that you guys choose from Instagram, I will read that month. So you know that I will be finally getting to the frozen river. And it makes sense. It's January. It is actually snowing outside right now. So I'm not going to tell you what the yellow book was, because that book is now going to move to February. So we'll have to choose between that one and another book. And so if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. Did any of you guys that voted know by those emojis that it was the frozen river? I would love to hear if you figured that out. Okay, that is a wrap. Let me know, have you read any of these books? If you haven't heard of one or two of these books and I've brought it to your attention, does it sound like something that you would want to read? I would love to know what is on your TBR. And until the next page.
I've been all around the world, every city, every place.